Because we have a president that is very pro-business. If you sit in the cabinet, there's only one rhetoric, which is the fact that we have to do whatever we need to do to diversify the Nigerian economy. We have to do whatever we need to do to improve the quality of lives for people. That's the rhetoric, and which was why we had the retreat that we just finished on Friday, where every minister has had to sign a bond. You know, I'm sure we've never heard of that before in Nigeria, where ministers are actually signing bond. And it made it very clear that we're going to be tracked upon these things. These things were written down by quarters, right, where you're checking in and ensuring that you can see what's happening to your target. If you're not meeting your target, why are you not meeting it? And, you know, people are actually scared because the honest truth is that you will be tracked, right? So for us, what we're saying is that we're tapping into that energy to saying, historically, we know that technology is a tool that nations use to develop, whether you think of first, second, third industrial revolution.
Hello guys, and welcome back to this channel. I'm your host, Idika Nobut, and this is Isaaca News. We'll be talking about something very interesting to border on the performance bond that was signed by the new ministers of this administration, which would help them, you know, state out their targets per quarter. So it's very interesting. So they're going to have quarterly targets. And you know, a quarter made up of 3 months, where a year has 4 quarters. January to March is a quarter, then you move on like that in 3 months. So beginning from next year, the ministers are going to have their quarterly targets that will be earmarked by them. So let's use a ministry. Let's say Ministry of Blue and Marine Economy now, or any other ministry, you know, can say, okay, this is our target for this quarter, for first quarter of 2024, for second quarter of 2024, for third quarter, for fourth quarter. This is what we intend to achieve as a ministry. So this would be decided by the ministers themselves and will present it to the person, you know, Mrs. Hadiza Bala Usman, who has been, you know, set up by the president as what we may call a class prefect, to ensure that these ministers actually keep to their word or face sack. So this is what the president said. Failure to keep, you know, or to, let's say, perform your own target that you set by yourself per quarter would lead to a replacement of such ministers with somebody who would be able to do the work that ought to be done. Now, this is very key and very important. Reason being that in this country, we have lived and run government for a very long time with no supervision, with no target, or even when targets were set, there was no person or body that was instituted to make sure that these targets are kept, and failure to keep them would warrant to consequences. So now there are very new consequences. In fact, when the Minister of Aviation, you know, Festus Keyamo went to Channel the very next day, he spoke of how he went and addressed his whole cabinet under him and told him that, see, you guys know the reason why they will sack me, so all of you must sit up, because I've signed a performance bond saying that if I don't do so and so within this time frame, that I should be sacked. When Mr. Bosun Tijani came on Arise Television, he also talked about the performance bond that was signed by him on a quarterly basis. Now, different ministers have aired their opinions and views about this, and this has created a new atmosphere within the cabinet that would compel ministers to ensure that they put all the work they need to do, sack people under them, promote certain people, do a thorough overhaul of their ministries to ensure that they deliver on their target. Else, this woman in front of your screen, Hadiza, is coming after them with a rod of iron. So we are hoping and we're, you know, desiring that this will yield dividends for the economy. So we have a lot of ministries in this country that can really turn things around. A major one will be the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. It has a lot of potentials. Ministry of Mines and City Development has a lot of potentials. Ministry of Innovations and Digital Economy has a lot of potentials. And Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works and Housing. Oh, Ministry of Works has been for Ministry of Housing. Ministry of Health, of Education. These are ministries that can verily affect the lives of people in this country. And when we have such things in place, I believe that every minister will sit up. When the first minister is sacked, who knows, it will send ripples and send shock waves down the spine of every other minister, where they will see that their appointment is not eternal, but that they can leave office anytime. The president came out to make his own sentiment and remarks about the performance bond, where he clearly stated in very clear terms that any minister under him that underperforms will be sacked. Now, that is a very huge statement that is widely applauded by many Nigerians, because we understand that he cannot do this work on his own. He needs his ministers to ensure that they paint a proper picture for his administration. Now, we are very hopeful and we are desirous that this would put our ministers in check, put our different government leaders in check, the heads of MDS, heads of parastatals, heads of unions, heads of different NGOs in check, and ensure that people are delivering on key deliverables per quarter, per season, so as to ensure a steady growth of the economy and improvement of lives and properties in Nigeria. So this is going to end for today's video. Thank you for sticking thus far with us. We hope to see you in our next video. To see you again, Godspeed.